All right, back again, Luke here. And today, as you can see in front of you, this is another one of those boards that we wound up getting from Ken and Jen in that board lot that he sent out. And this is the Yie Kung Fu board. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly at all, but this is another one that's made by Konami, and I figured we could try and check this thing out, see if we can fix some of that. No clue as to what's going on with this board, but I did notice that it has the same pinout here as the Konami PCB that we got from PCB Junkie and the adapter here. So this should work out quite well to test things out. Now, as always, I'm just going to go here and make sure that nothing is shorted to anything else before we start plugging stuff in. I try and do this just as kind of like a rule of thumb nowadays, just to make sure that nothing is grounded out. I have had it a couple of times where the sound amp or the sound module had created a short, or one of the capacitors had created a short, and I didn't notice it, and when I plugged it in, it just poof, magic smoke. So try and check that out before we plug this thing in here. And other than that, let's go ahead and look at the bottom of this. It does look like it's in quite good condition. I mean, this kind of trace work here with the foil look to it, something that was on several old PCBs from the time of like Pac-Man, Galaga, back even on the Atari. These kind of really, I don't know, makeshift traces here were quite common. Nowadays you don't see them. They're more pressed and a bit more sophisticated looking. Well, I shouldn't say now. Now you don't really see them, I guess. But after that, around the 90s or so, they went to a bit of a manufactured, more cleaner look. But let's go ahead and see what we get with this thing. I've got my adapter here, so go ahead and clip this on and check some of that. See what this thing is doing or not doing. Alright. This board is a bit large, so it's hard to get everything in the picture. There we go. Okay, we've got that. So, let's hit the old power here and check some of that. Ooh, okay. Got a loud hum to it, and not much of anything else. Very similar to, I think, what what do I want to say? Like Russian Attack was doing as well. So one thing we'll do is try and clean up some of the EEPROMs. It's kind of an easy thing. I did notice that this has a couple of the older Toshiba RAM on it. Those have a tendency to go bad, but we'll see what we can find out here. Let's see. Do we have? Since we're here, I don't know if I have this connected or not. I can check to see if we have a clock signal or not. I need to find 5 volts though. Let's see if we can find a 5-volt rail. This is going to be kind of noisy. Turn this down a little bit. Probably be some humming sounds. Let's see if I can find a 5-volt point that I can connect this to. It seems like 5 volts there. I should be able to use that from this diode. If we can get it to clip on. I don't know if we can get a good... Okay, we've got that. Let's check to see just if we have a... it's probably better with the light off here. Check to see if we have a clock signal. Let's see. No, we don't. We don't have a clock signal. Okay. At least that's, I believe that is, that's for the sound section. Okay, that would make sense. This is probably for the board itself, and I don't know if I can flip this over. This is going to be tricky to test because it's on the other side, but this is our crystal for that. So we'll check out the system program ROMs here and see if that changes anything. We'll take them out and check some of that. Also, some of these dip switches are up. I don't know. Let's see. What about 1, 2, 3, and 4? 1, 2, and 3. Do those change anything? No, those don't change anything. Okay. So let's flip this board over and I'll try and check to see if we have a clock signal on this part. Pretty cool look here, huh? Matrix, anyone? But this is the board flipped upside down and this is the light shining through it. But as you can see here, this is where our, let's see, I don't know if I can show this. Okay, here's where our crystal is. And if we check out, our crystal is actually working. So we do have a circuit here that is working. We do have our clock circuit. So it's got to be something else along the way, possibly the RAM, possibly the EEPROMs that need to be cleaned, so possibly one of the TTL chips. So, well, without further ado, I suppose we'll go ahead and we'll try and check the other parts here, and then we'll come back and fix the rest. Hopefully get it running here. See you in a few minutes. Okay, so what I've been doing is I've been going around and trying to probe different parts on this board, and I came across this IC here. Now, if you look at it, the board has actually had all of the custom chip numbers just shaved off of them, and I think this was done at the factory, but you can tell that the actual number that was printed on them was shaven off. And this one as well. So I thought this was a Konami custom IC, but after looking online and checking this out, this is actually a 6809 CPU. So I had no clue about that, made by Fujitsu, but if you look at it, all of the information there, the Fujitsu logo, all of that stuff has been carved off. So looking around at different parts or different components next to it, I couldn't find any problems. A lot of the data lines, a lot of the other components on this board had some sort of activity when you checked it with the probe. But when looking at this one and taking a look at the schematic, this actually has a couple of just dead, outright dead lines. If you don't remember what this was doing, I'll go ahead and turn it on again for you. But if we turn it on here, this is what we get. It's just a blank rug screen here. So what I did is I started probing around this CPU, and up in the corner here, maybe I should turn off the lights. It has a halt signal, which is located in the upper right-hand corner. And when I put my probe to it, you guys can't even see that. There's absolutely zero activity, nothing on the halt line. If I go and check out some of the other lines here, we can get some activity here. Let's see. There we go. We've got a bit of some activity going on here. I believe that's the clock signal. So it is getting the clock signal to it, but the halt line it's just dead. There's nothing on it. Other lines over here, I've got low, nothing. These ones are all reading low, nothing. So what I did is I marked this one as kind of a possibility of maybe a problem, and I removed the IC here, as so. And after removing the IC, I decided to turn the board on without this in, and to my surprise, it actually booted to this screen here, and you can see it's doing basically a watchdog, like a reset on it. So I instantly thought maybe this CPU is bad, and I looked around for a replacement for it, and I couldn't find the exact one. But what I did find is a Hitachi, maybe that'll focus in there. This is a HD63C09 EP, and pop this guy in here, like so. as one would. And then hit the old switch. And bingo, this thing fired right up. So the CPU itself there was dead, but as you can see, we still have some character graphics in the artifacting in the background. So we have to work on that, but at least it's somewhat working now. And I don't know if this is going to be an EEPROM related thing or not. It doesn't seem to be like that, but it's at least playing for right now. So we're one step ahead, but we've got just a little bit more to figure out here. What's going on with the character ROMs? See if we can find what's going on with that. And I don't know if this thing is going to... Oh, I guess you can hear credit, but no sound. Let's see. Is there any sound here? No sound. Okay, so we're not getting any sound at all. But it is starting to play, which is 10 times better than what it was doing before. So we are on the right track here. But we just got to figure out what's going on with those graphic glitches and what's going on with the sound section over here. That might be a whole other situation. It's just nothing going on. But one step closer here. But I'm going to get on that and see what else we can find out. So going back to the graphic situation, I started checking out these graphic ROMs here, and I wanted to test them to make sure that they were all good. So I pulled these out here, and I noticed that the last one here, this one D03, actually wasn't making good conductivity, and the pins on it were a bit corroded. So I pulled this one out and then popped this one back in, and that actually fixed the graphic problem. That's pretty natural there at the beginning, but that did fix the artifacting, the lines through the sprites. So as you can see there, that's pretty good. If I wiggle it, I think the socket, yeah, you can see it how it comes back. So if I wiggle that, that actually does come back, but it's either the socket or it's probably the socket. I might have to go back and maybe add some solder to that, because if I press it in the wrong spot, it'll actually come back again. But that part is fixed. So the next part here we'll have to do is figure out what's up with the sound section. It could be the capacitors here, which seem, they seem okay. Could be the amplifier underneath here, which is probably most likely, or it could be the sound chip over here. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to, because like just pressing and holding this doesn't, I'm going to find a more permanent solution for that. Some of those pins are just not making good contact. So just squeezing it here or letting off of it changed the dynamic quite a bit. I might actually replace that socket, although it's not the original one here. It might be better in the long run. But that's where we're at with that. So the next part here is to try and figure out what is going on with this sound. Yeah, just nothing going on with the sound. Check and see if our sound crystal is actually getting, actually I could check to see if this thing is getting any. Let's turn this off. Before, when it wasn't running, we weren't getting any kind of pulse from it. But let's see if we get anything now. No, we're not. We're not getting anything. This is doing nothing. So it might be our crystal or related circuitry. I think I found the problem here with this socket. As you can see here, there are quite a lot of green and corroded pins on especially this row here in the background. So I'm thinking that it's probably just going to be better to remove that and put in another socket just so it gets better continuity, because especially here at the back, those ones are really green and corroded. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swap out the socket here and see if that fixes it. We've got the old socket out here, and I don't know if you can see this. Probably the light isn't going to do it justice, but most of these pins, especially on this top row here, they go all the way down to the bottom. It looks like even some liquid maybe spilled on this at one point in time, but the corrosion goes down to the bottom in these pins. And as much as I'd love to reuse this socket, I just don't know if it's going to be reliable or not in the future. Maybe someone might wind up getting this board and that problem consistently happens and they don't know what to do with it, so they junk it just because of a bad socket. So like I said, although this is pretty strong and looks to be pretty decent, it's only a single wipe socket, which is not the best, and this one actually has dual, so that should make a better fit. But we've already got this one out of the way. All we have to do is just put in our new one and pop in the chip, and should be able to, yeah, be a lot better or more stable with that part. And then the next thing we'll have to do is work on the sound section and figure that out. Okay, so I decided to get out my handy dandy audio probe here and start checking around to see what I could find in terms of the game. As you can see, after replacing that socket over there, the problem of the graphic glitching has gone away. So it's perfectly solid now. There's no problems with that, but we are still missing our sound. However, using my probe here, if I can find the end of it, and checking the pins of this amplifier. Hopefully I don't bridge anything. You can see that we now have sound. And it is actually the amplifier that is fried. So there's nothing wrong with the crystal over there. It was the amplifier all along, but I don't think this thing has sound in demo mode. Maybe it does. Maybe it's off right now. But yeah, it looks like our amplifier is going to be the problem here. So I'm going to remove this and see if I can find a replacement for it, and we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and get that done. Well, fast forwarding here, about 4 weeks later, I finally got some of the replacement parts that I need. These are the amplifiers that I've been waiting for. However, you know, buying things from overseas and different places, you never know what's going to arrive. So, I don't know. I've got my hopes at kind of like a minimum here, hoping that this will work, but also expecting that these ones might not. This is one of them. It's removed from the package here. I mean, it looks to be in good condition, but the print on the front there, I don't know. Hopefully that's original. We've got our paste, thermal paste. We'll go ahead and apply that to our heatsink here. And then we'll pop this thing back together and check some of that. Should be a good amount. It's kind of stringy there, but that will work nevertheless. And we'll push this down here. This is a really interesting kind of heatsink here. You have to line it up. It has the holes for the bottom screws and bend the pins on the bottom there to make them fit in place. So I don't know what's the best way to do this. Maybe it's better to, I don't know, maybe I should have put this in here first. I don't know if you'll be able to see this very clearly. Kind of put this into our holes. And then bend this one back. Probably that's going to be the best solution here. But getting the right angle, that's a bit tricky. All right, I think that's going to work right there. Then we can put this back down, like so. And then from the other side, we'll put in our 3 screws that we have. This may be a bit awkward here to do on camera. We'll see what we can do. Try not to move things around too much. But yeah, I've been waiting for these parts for forever, and they sat in customs for about a good 10 days, I think. So I was wondering when they were gonna finally arrive, and today was the day. So hopefully we'll be able to get everything up and running here. This is super tricky. I might have to do this part off camera. Oh, there we go. Looks like I've got one started. There's the other one, okay. But yeah, I was beginning to wonder, like, what is taking custom so long to get these out? Must have just been a long wait with other shipments coming in at the same time. But finally they arrived. Looks like I got a bit of some attachments here, little strings of whatever. All right, get that all tightened down. This one seemed pretty good. All right, and just for the heck of it, I'll go ahead and add a little bit of flux on some of these pins here. Let's make the solder flow a little bit better. And go along these here, and hopefully this will be done in a matter of a few minutes. But this is one that I thought actually would have taken the least amount of time, and in reality this has taken the most amount of time. Just hope everything works here, or else we'll be removing it again and again. And put that aside. And let's see. We've got our toothbrush here. Got a little bit of some isopropyl alcohol. Clean that up. Grab a piece of tissue, I suppose. Go over that just to kind of remove any of the excess. But that should be pretty good to go. I think we're all ready to rock. So the next part here is to plug this beast in and check some of that. Let's see. Fingers crossed and everything hoping to go smoothly here. Let's get this all lined up. All right, we've got our amp, new amp plugged in, got everything wired up. Let's pop this on and check some of that. Oh, I can hear some humming. Oh, still hear some humming here. Let's see. There we go. Ha ha. Fantastic. All right. We have some Yie Kung Fu back up and running here. Yeah. This is the ridiculous one-handed fighting. All right. Nice. All right. This is awesome. So we have another board here completely revived and back from the dead, which is super cool to have this back from the old junk pile here, back on a working platform again. But nevertheless, just want to share with you a little bit of a look at this journey here through the repair of Konami's Yie Kung Fu. And me just jumping around the screen. There's no point in this. I'm not gonna beat this. Oh, I got lucky there. Like, the worst part is like looking through the camera here and knowing that you're not connecting with any of the punches or kicks. You're just jumping around. Alright, we're gonna leave it here. But as you can see, it is working. It's just ridiculous here trying to play this with one hand. And we'll just... Come on. There we go. But as you can see, it is up and running again. But yeah, if you're stuck on this long, then fantastic. But like always, we'll put up another video here soon. So thanks for watching. Watching some bad fighting here. One-handed horsing around. I think that's pretty cool. They can launch out these items there. Well, I'm not going to make you sit through like 6 minutes of this, but it is working. It's back up and alive. So thanks again, and we'll catch you here soon on the next video. Thanks again.